Now, the final calculation for this chapter. I call it perfection is the key. Before I show you the ultimacy of this chapter, here is the translation of the earth-shattering, simple to understand but impossible to imitate verses of the key. Chapter 1. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to God, Lord of the universe, most gracious, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, you alone we ask for help. Guide us in the right path, the path of those whom you've blessed, not of those who deserve wrath, nor of the strayers. We saw before that you cannot change a word for its synonym here with the exact same amount of letters. But there is one last clever trick in which the human beings can pull from their sleeves. Instead of substituting a word for its synonym with the exact same amount of letters, you can invert a word with another word in which the letters and numerical values remain identical. For example, in the third verse, here in chapter 1, it is said, most gracious, most merciful. I can invert the word most merciful in place of most gracious, thus keeping the same amount of letters and numerical values. So what I am going to do now is transform each individual letters for its numerical value, thus forming a 274-digit number in which it includes the chapter, following with the total number of verses, then the first verse and next to it its number of letters, followed by the numerical value of every individual letter, and then followed by the number of the next verse, followed by the number of the letters in this verse, followed by the numerical values of every letter in this verse, and so on to the end of the chapter. Thus the last component is 50. And this gigantic number is a multiple of 19. Therefore, you cannot change the position of a word in a verse, making this chapter and the rest of the Quran, which will be in the next video, perfect. And now for those who are wondering, why 19? Here is the first main reason. The word one, Wahid in Arabic, in reference to God in the Quran, is used only 19 times to remind us the message of the Quran and the first commandment. There is only one God. The second reason is that the Arabic word Wahid, which means one, has a numerical value of 19. The third reason is that the number 19 is only mentioned once in the Quran. As you can see here, there is an interconnecting relationship with the number 1 and 19 with its occurrences in the Quran and its numerical value. Now the fourth reason is that the number 1 is the first numeral and 9 is the last numeral, as to proclaim God's attribute in chapter 57, verse 3, which 57 is 19 times 3. As the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. Finally, the fifth reason is that the number 1 and 9 looks the same in all languages, for example, in English and Arabic. In addition, 19 is a prime number, thus making the odds more incredible. This great prophecy was fulfilled in January 1974. The momentous discovery was made by Dr. Rashad Khalifa that the number 19 is the Quran's common denominator, in which it coincided with the lunar calendar, Dhul Hijjah, 1393 after Hijrah. The Quran was revealed in 13 before Hijrah. This makes the number of years from the revelation of the Quran to the revelation of its mathematical phenomena 1393 plus 13, which is the year 1406, or 19 by 74. As noted above, the unveiling of the miracle took place in January 1974. The correlation between 19 by 74 lunar years and 1974 solar years could not escape notice. This is especially uncanny in the view of the fact that the number 19 and its function is only mentioned in chapter 74 in the Quran. And that's why. Over it is 19. We appointed angels to be guardians of hell, and we assigned their number to disturb the disbelievers, to convince the Christians and Jews, to straighten the faith of the faithful, to remove all traces of doubt from the hearts of Christians, Jews, as well as the believers, and to expose those who harbor doubt in their hearts. And the disbelievers, they will say, "What did God mean by this symbol?" God thus sends astray whomever he wills and guides whomever he wills. None knows the soldiers of your Lord except he. This is a reminder for the people. Absolutely by the moon, and the night as it passes, and the morning as it shines. This is one of the greatest miracles, a warning to the human race, for those among you who wish to advance or regress.